We hear it all the time, right? AI is going to make us smarter, faster, way more productive. But what if there's a catch? A hidden cost to offloading all our thinking? What if these incredible digital assistants are, well, actually making our own brains a little bit duller? Let's dive in and see what the evidence says. You know, this quote from a user online, it just hits home. It's a feeling a lot of us have probably had. And it turns out it might be more than just a feeling. New research is starting to back this up with some pretty startling data. So, what's the science behind this? Well, researchers have started framing this problem as a kind of cognitive debt. Think of it like a loan for your brain. It's super convenient now, but that bill eventually comes due, especially when we let AI do all the heavy lifting for us. And it looks like people are already sensing this trade-off. A study from 2023 looked at university students and found their number one concern about using AI was that it would just make them lazy. And get this, that worry actually beat out privacy issues. They can feel that all this convenience comes with a price. But let's get even more specific. There was this really eye-opening study from the MIT's Media Lab that put this whole idea to the test. They had one group of students write essays with AI help and another group write without it, all while monitoring their brains to see what was actually going on in there. And the results? Whoa. The findings were just staggering. A whopping 83% of the students who used GPT-4 to help write their essays couldn't accurately quote anything from the text they had just finished working on. Now, compare that to the group that wrote without any help. Only 11% of them had that problem. That is a huge difference. And the brain scans really showed us why this was happening. For the unaided writers, their brains were lit up. Different parts were firing in sync, which is a key sign of deep thinking and engagement. But the AI-assisted writers, their brain activity was about half as strong. The AI wasn't just an assistant, it was basically letting their brains switch off and go on autopilot. And this takes us right back to that idea of cognitive debt, because here's the most damning part of that MIT study. When they took the AI tool away from the students, their performance stayed poor. It's like their brains had gotten used to coasting. You know the old saying, use it or lose it? The effect stuck around even after the tool was gone. Okay, but what about creativity? Isn't AI supposed to be this amazing partner that unlocks our creative genius? Well, the data here is complicated. It shows us something of a paradox. So, on one hand, studies do show that ideas generated with some help from AI are often rated by people as being more creative. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. When researchers looked closer, they found that over time, all these creative AI-assisted ideas had way less variety. They all started to sound the same. It makes you wonder if we're just getting a more uniform version of creativity.
Research is one thing, but how is this all playing out on the front lines? What are teachers, the people who are actually trying to teach the next generation how to think, seeing in their classrooms every day?
Listen to how one professor in the US put it. He's seeing students who are so used to just plugging a long text into an AI for a quick summary that when he asks them to do it themselves, they can't. They struggle to even explain the basic plot, let alone dig into any of the deeper meanings. And he is definitely not alone. It's a pattern teachers are seeing everywhere. Students are basically outsourcing the fundamental skills of learning. They toss a prompt into an AI, copy-paste whatever it gives them, and they completely miss the whole point of the assignment, which is to learn how to analyze, to synthesize, and to create something for themselves. Okay, so I know, this all sounds a little bleak, but it doesn't have to be. This isn't about throwing the technology away. It's about figuring out how to use it without letting it use us. The research is actually pointing us toward a smarter path forward. So what can we do? Well, researchers suggest a three-part plan. First, we need to design these AIs more ethically from the ground up, with built-in safeguards against our brains getting lazy. Second, the algorithms need to be transparent, so we actually know how they're coming up with their suggestions. And third, and this one is on us, we have to consciously choose to flex our own mental muscles, especially when it comes to making important decisions. The authors of that study on student concerns use this really powerful metaphor to make their point. They said that embracing AI without fixing these major human issues would be like summoning the devils. The potential for good is huge, but so are the risks if we're not careful. So what does this mean for you and me in our daily lives? Well, think about it like this. Most of us have jobs that don't keep us physically fit, so we go to the gym. We might need to start thinking the same way about our minds. We might have to become more deliberate about brain training to keep our minds sharp in an age where deep thinking is becoming optional. And really, that leaves us with the ultimate question. AI promises to free up our time and save us from mental grunt work. So, what are we going to do with all that extra time? Will we use it to learn, to create, to connect with each other more deeply? Or will we just, check out? For now at least, that choice is still ours to make.